Hey, what is up, everyone? This is Omar, and welcome to Omar Draws, where we talk about art, we make art, and we just have a good time. So, today I wanted to share with you guys something that's been on my mind for quite some time. And, you know, before I get into it, it would mean the world to me if you guys subscribe to my channel, like my videos, and follow me on social media. Link's going to be in the description. Now, moving on with the topic that I wanted to talk about is art style. Now, what is an art style? By Googling this, I found out that an art style describes when an artwork looks the way it looks. It's a window into the artist's creative process to help you understand the artist's vision, subject, and feelings expressed on the canvas. Now, when I first came across this definition, the one phrase that really caught my attention was the part where it said, feelings expressed on a canvas. And this right here is the most important thing that we artists need to pay attention to when figuring out an art style. Because at the end of the day, if your artwork makes people feel a certain way about it, or if you're able to tell a story through your art and someone can actually understand what you're trying to say, then you are definitely on the right path. And for me personally, I feel like I'm at a point in my life where I'm constantly struggling about my art style, where I'm experimenting so much with these different mediums and I'm still trying to figure out what's going on. And it's totally okay to be in this situation. In fact, it's probably the best situation you want to be in when you're trying to figure out where you want to be at with your art. And just for example, like for me personally, like I enjoy doing realistic portraits, I enjoy doing stylized portraits, I like painting characters, I like painting vehicles, props, environments. I mean, I love 3D modeling, and I even like animation to some extent. So there's just so many things out there that I like doing, but I'm still stuck. Like I don't know where I would go from here, right? And the one thing I want to tell you that it's okay. It's okay to be in this situation. It's always better to experiment as compared to just staying in one style, at least in the beginning, right? Now, this is more geared more towards people like me, people who are like who are like mostly beginners or a little bit above a beginner level, right? And they're constantly just trying to figure out what's the next best thing for them. Now, if you're a professional who already has like a good following on Instagram or something, then this really doesn't apply to you because you have everything figured out already. But this is more about people who are trying to figure out, okay, where do I go from here, right? And I just wanted to give you guys some motivation because for me personally, I went through a journey as well. So when it happened all back in 2019, it was like towards the not towards the end, I feel like it was the summer of 2019 where I decided that I wanted to change my habits. I wanted to improve my skill set a little bit more, because before that all I ever drew was anime. It was only anime and manga, and that's about it. I only watched anime. I That's all I drew, that's all I ever did. And then I felt like at one point that I just felt stuck. I felt like, there should be something else out there that I should be doing. I can't just be drawing anime my entire life. And so the next realistic approach that came to my mind was that, okay, why don't I just start doing more realistic portraits, right? Or maybe something that's semi-realistic. And so what I did is that I started looking up some tutorials. I started following some people on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter who do this kind of stuff. And then I started learning from them. I started studying their work. I started seeing how they approach their drawings. And yeah, it turned out really nicely. I mean, in the beginning, it kind of sucked because what I was doing, I was trying to, because these guys on Instagram, they're so good that they can just make stuff from their imagination, right? And so I thought that maybe, okay, I should be drawing from my imagination as well. But that's not how it works. You need to find good references, study from references, and that's how you get better at art. And so what happened is that from practicing all of that, I finally started seeing a growth in my artistic skills. I finally started feeling like, okay, I feel like I'm getting better at this. And this is a feeling that I haven't felt like in so long, that I immediately felt so happy. And so this was just the beginning. This was just an inspiration for me to start finding other art styles and find and experiment a little bit more. So the next thing that I wanted to do was, okay, now I know how to paint realistically to some extent. Why don't I start painting like full bodies instead of just a face, right? And so I started doing that, and then I started getting good at that as well. And so now, and then at that point, so we are here. So this is July of 2019, and now we are in December of 2019, where I feel like I kind of have like a good grip. I feel like kind of understand the basics of just realistic rendering. And so the next thing that I wanted to do was I wanted to explore environments and backgrounds, something that's, really hard to do on your own. Especially this one thing among artists where they just stay away from backgrounds because they're just so complicated. Sorry. And so, but yeah, I saw the growth that I had in these past few months, and then I told myself, hey, let me just, what could go wrong, right? The worst thing that's gonna happen is that I'm just not gonna like it, and that's about it. And so I did the same thing again. I looked up more tutorials. I started drawing more environments, started learning more about composition, color, light, and this is something that I'm still not that good at, but I started learning about it and I started being aware of the fact that this is something that can be done by a normal artist like me, someone who's not a professional yet. And then, I love doing environments once I learned how to do them. And prior to this, I actually absolutely hated doing environments, is because I did not know how to paint environments. And the reason why I hated them, because I'd never tried them out, and then I was just so scared of just trying it out because I was just scared that I might fail so bad at it. But once I started learning that, it was just amazing. It was probably the best experience I've ever had in my art life. In my art life, okay. I don't know if that makes sense, but you get the point. And so what happened is that I started, it kind of like, it's one of those things where you start realizing things about yourself. You start learning about yourself as a person more, because then I figured out that, okay, maybe I like doing environments more than drawing people now, because this is so cool. I can literally tell a story, create a scene where I can show these cool images up here. And then the next thing for me was that I wanted to learn 3D. Well, 3D, I kind of knew 3D a little bit in the beginning, but I wasn't using it as much, because then I started looking up more artists on Instagram and on an art station, and they were using Blender and all these cool softwares like ZBrush and 3D Code, and they were incorporating that in the 2D, 3D designs, and that was so cool. And so the next step for me was to learn 3D now and to find like a good balance between 3D and 2D. And so again, I did the same thing. I looked up some tutorials, spent a few months, and just learned a little bit of 3D. And then this was also an amazing experience that I had, because then I was constantly learning. Now, the reason why I'm sharing this experience with you guys is because I want to tell you that in order to find an art style that works for you, you have to go out there and experiment, right? You need to get out of your comfort zone. You need to just go for it. What could go wrong? Nothing. The worst thing that's gonna happen is that you're gonna come across something that you don't like, and if you don't like it, just don't do it ever in your life. That's it. But if you do not experiment and if you don't go and try it out, you will never know if you like it or not. And the same thing happened with me when I was doing environments. I absolutely hated doing environments, but then I did it anyway, and now I love doing environments. In fact, I feel like I haven't posted a lot of videos on environment paintings on this channel yet, but I will do that soon, because I had some class assignments going on, and so I was just recording those and posting that. But definitely, I'm gonna post some environments as well. But here's the thing: so in order to find an art style, you need to experiment quite a bit, which is why I also titled this video that it's okay to have multiple art styles, at least in the beginning, right? Because then you wanna reach a point in your life where you just want to stick with one art style, because then that art style becomes your thing. It becomes a thing that you get known for, right? You could be that guy who just makes these really cool sci-fi characters, or you could be that one guy who makes these really cool robots, or maybe mecha or something, right? Or you could just be that one guy who makes these really hyper realistic environments. And the only way for you to get to that point is through experimentation. And so, like, the main takeaway from this video should just be that don't be scared to try out different styles. Just go for it and just do it. I mean, in this video up here, I kind of challenged myself with this video where I had a reference image up here, and I did a realistic render, and then I did a stylized realistic render, and then a stylized render. And the difference between these three renders was that the first one was just realistic, like nothing more, nothing less, just realistic rendering. The second one was that where I kind of like tried to merge my stylized skills into and my realistic skills together and make something that's like more towards the lines of Overwatch, or those other cool Blizzard, Riot Games style games. Yeah. And then the last one was just a simple anime drawing. And out of all these three, I felt like the one that I enjoyed the most was the realistic one and the anime one. It's because those two are the ones I've been drawing a lot lately. But the second one that I did was the stylized realism, was something that was a mashup between these two art styles, and it was actually a good opportunity for me to learn something new. And so moving forward for me, I feel like right now I feel like I'm stuck and I don't know what exactly is my art style, but I'm also constantly learning things about myself and the things that I like about drawing. And so one thing that I want to focus on is maybe do either realistic portraits or do realistic environments using 3D. And so once you start making these assumptions to yourself, then you can start narrowing down your goals for the future. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave a like, comment, and share this, and subscribe to this channel. And I will see you guys next Friday.